Boy up, it's D&D in the building. Purdue power, no ceiling. Yeah. Double D back, that's Derek and Dalton. Talking gold blood, Mackie been molten. Black and gold dreams, banners we folding. Paint crew loud, every rim gets swollen. Stats so clean, you think it's a scheme. History books get Purdue screen. From humble to E-Day, legends on replay. We run through March like it's just another weekday. Double the energy, talking that legacy. Boiler boys cooking, no recipe. Microphone magic, rivalry static. We breaking it down, keep it cinematic. You want the heat, better tune in fast.
Welcome back to the Double D Podcast. My name is Derek, and as always, this is my co-host Dalton. We also have Blake Widmer joining the show today, all the way from the beautiful Jamaica. We are going to recap Purdue's 93-63 win over Maryland in College Park. We did take a little hiatus here. We needed a little mental break. I think a lot of Purdue fans probably did with all of this, the negativity and everything that was going on around the program. I just couldn't deal with it much anymore, so we took a break. We did not do an IU recap. If you want my thoughts on that, you're just going to have to not get them. So that's just the way that is. We're just going to move forward, and we're in February now. January is over. It seems to, be a little bit of a hump on our back at certain times throughout my fandom as Purdue fan. But how you doing, Blake? What were your thoughts? Just initial thoughts on the game today.
Yeah, it was the epitome of a get-right game. We are all hoping for this. It's what we wanted to see. It's what we thought we should see. But I, for one, was not overly confident coming in that we were going to get this type of a game. I thought we would win. I wasn't worried about that. But to be able to shut down Coit, I mean, he had 3 points until the last couple minutes of the game. He finished with 8. Their other guys didn't really get going. It's really some surprising performers from them that put up points. So I just thought, overall, top to bottom, fantastic performance.
Yeah, 100% agree. Just a good game overall. I had the same kind of feeling that you did when it comes to I was never worried about this. Heck, I was watching it in the bedroom, with my wife in there. We were just doing laundry, watching this game. And normally I have to be alone in my own space. And I was like, I'm not really worried. But I did have that feeling kind of like, man, we're going to end up winning this by 10 to 12 points. It's going to be annoying. Nothing's gonna, but it felt good. What were your thoughts, Dalton, just on the overall, gameplay? Obviously, we'll have a lot to talk about when it comes to individual players and stuff, but what'd you think of the game and how Purdue handled business?
Yeah, it was a good one. It made me feel good inside, which I've been in a slight depression lately, based specifically around Purdue's performances of late. A 3-game skid really does a lot to my mental. Not gonna lie to you. And as much as I'm joking, I'm not. I've been a real piece of work lately, and I know that Derek's had to deal with that quite a bit, as well as my wife. So thank you for sticking with me. 8 players with over 115 offensive performance. That's what you're supposed to do in these games. Maryland's dog water, absolute dog water, but it wasn't as much about Maryland in this game as it was about what did Purdue come out and do, and they came out and did it. So that's where my thoughts rest, and it was fantastic to see the 3 seniors back doing their thing.
Yep. Yeah, I thought that was. Oh, here we go. Why do we got to just start
9-0
off with that crap, dude? Undefeated. Yeah, that was my big thing. And I put a tweet out about that Painter really was leaning into those guys with the minutes in the first half. They all played 16 or more minutes. It felt very pointed. Nope, you guys are going to be the ones to fix this, or you're going to deal with the repercussions. And I was happy to see that. Make those guys be accountable. That they're the ones who have been taking shit online all week, last 2 weeks, dealing with it. Braden's on his pods talking about it. Fletcher was on the Purdue pod talking about it. Good. I'm glad you guys were hearing it, because sometimes that's the only thing that's going to motivate you if you're feeling a little bit almost lulled to death with those guys. They've been in this so long. They've been through so much that they probably just want to get to March. Like, I really think that's their mindset. Like, can we just get it here already? Like, we're ready to go try to win a national title. Like, I really think that's, but you also have to do the legwork to get to the point that you want to be at. You know, if you don't want to go into March as a 4 seed and now you got to play a 1 seed just to make the Elite Eight. Because the 1 seeds this year are going to be really good. And this game against Maryland, I thought it was everything that we had seen for, the first couple months of the season outside of the Iowa State game. And that was good to see, where we were beating teams by 20 points about every game. In Maryland, yeah, they do suck. Let's be honest. But that being said, like, this is a Maryland team that had Michigan on the brink until about 8 minutes left in that game against them. They fight. They do have fight in them. They have Diggy Coit, who, like, Blake mentioned, we really shut them down. But my biggest thing in this game, and I'll let you guys comment, on kind of what you were thinking about this or about anything else. Like, I love that Purdue shot 33s in this game. I think that this Purdue team, as much as we want to pretend that we're, big and we can go inside, we just don't do that. So if we're not going to do that, I know we shoot mid-range well, but we also have a good shooting team. Number one, as far as percentage goes, shooting team in the Big Ten from 3. So let's shoot 33s a game like everybody else does. That's a good shooting team. Because if you're only going to shoot the 15 to 20, you really bring in that variance of, like, if you have an off shooting night on 15 shots, it looks really bad. You saw it with Illinois the other day against Maryland, where they shot 43s. They made like 16. That's really not a great percentage. But when you shoot that many, it feels like you made a bunch. So what were your guys' thoughts on just, like, the shot selection? I know, Dalton, you tweeted at one point that Purdue had only taken like 3 twos or 4 twos or something like that.
I can't remember. It was in the first half. I think it was 12 twos in the first half.
Yeah.
So,
but Purdue has not been shooting a lot of threes recently. Blake, what was your thoughts on, that obviously getting Fletcher back going and, Braden? I think Braden just needs to shoot more threes personally.
Yes, I've been asking for Braden to shoot more threes all season, basically, especially the last 5-game stretch. I thought he had those shots all day against Illinois.
Yeah.
He only took 2 of them and made both of them, and they were both in the final 3 minutes of the game when we had to have answers. But they're there for Braden, and he's over 50% in Big Ten play. So I'm a huge Fletch guy. I was on your podcast once earlier this year, and I said it then, is Fletch needs to take at least 7 threes a game.
Yeah.
Just has to keep shooting. But Braden has to also. When both those guys are hitting their threes, I think Braden went 4 of 6 today. Fletch goes 7 of 10. I mean, nobody's going to beat this team when these guys are 11 of 16 shooting the 3. Like, nobody's going to beat us. I don't care who they are. So, absolutely, they both got to keep on shooting. Would like to see CJ get a few to go in. He's been really struggling ever since, I think the USC game was the last time he really played well. Maybe the UCLA game too. So, need to get him going too.
Yeah, I thought Jakari had a couple good go in late. Omer had a couple confident ones when he was running the show, which was really good to see. If you can get those bench guys, it's not as if they're going to score 15 points a game. Just the confidence, I think, is important. Dalton, what'd you see when it just came to, like, it just felt like a different approach from an offensive standpoint than what we've, we kind of all been asking and thinking Purdue's eventually just going to start pounding it inside. I don't think we are. I just don't think that that's what this team is best at. I think we can do it at times, but against these Big Ten teams, like, just to be blunt about it, like, as big as Oscar and Trey are, when they get doubled, there's not much you can do. You got to hit the open shots, and it's felt like we're more likely to pump fake and go shoot a 2 than just take the open 3 to begin with. So, what were your thoughts in this game, Dalton, about just the shooting?
Shooting was fantastic. A 15 of 30 day. You can't ask for anything more than that. I did think that the post feed we started out going to it. And I was really excited, happy to see that, because I still think we're a post-first team. Is like, it doesn't have to be a shot, but it has to be a kick out. Like, when we get those offensive rebounds tap back out, like, I would love to be able to figure out what our shooting percentage is off of offensive rebounds this year. Like, it's just insane, because once it goes into the inside or somebody taps it out, like, it allows our guys to restructure around the 3-point line or find a different spot, and we usually get a good bucket out of it. It's hard to argue when you have 11 offensive rebounds. Like, that's extra possessions. The shooting was phenomenal. Fletcher obviously is a game changer. And the big three were all plus 19, plus 32, and plus 24. So I don't see Purdue losing a game when the numbers look like that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and then, Braden doesn't play the final 12 minutes, still has 19 and 6. Probably if this was a game he played, 8 more minutes, you were probably looking at close to 30 points and 10 assists. I mean, it felt like he didn't do as much, mostly because the whole end of the game he wasn't in. But I mean, he dominated this game for the first half. Between him and Fletch, they had 35 points at halftime. I mean, that's what we all kind of, I think, envisioned when they rolled it back this season, was like, this is how it's going to be. These big three are going to score 50 a game, and teams are like, dare them to stop you, type of thing. And I thought it was great. I thought Fletcher looked way more confident shooting the ball, not even from like he's always confident. It's just like and a couple people have talked about it on, I think Bitts talked about it, like the pace at which he was shooting didn't feel rushed. It didn't feel like forced. It just felt very comfortable and natural. And I don't know if that's how they were guarding him, but the more Fletcher makes, it's not just about the points, it's about what it does to the rest of the floor. And when shots are falling for him, it's a beautiful thing for Purdue.
That was kind of my whole thing with Fletcher, was like, they weren't hard looks for him. They were the same looks he got today. He just couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Like, nothing was going down. I mean, all of his looks, the way we run him off his screens, are pretty well wide open. So it's not the change in looks, it's just what he does with them. It's like, is it falling? Does he see one go down early? Like, I knew as soon as I saw that one hit and it didn't touch the rim, it was like, here we go. Like, strap in, Maryland fans. So
I was about to say that too. It's like almost none of his threes even touched the rim today. Like, they were all just swish, swish, swish. One of my favorite plays of the game, I put it in the chat on Boilers in the Stands post game. Check them out if you don't already. One of the my favorite plays of the game was when TKR fights for an offensive rebound, immediately turns and kicks it to Fletch, bang, three. I think it was Fletch's fourth three of the game. Just the fight from Trey, because the only thing I need from Trey, and I'll go through the stats. I won't put them up here, but I'll go through them. The only thing I need from Trey is rebounding, and make your baskets when you shoot them. Like, we don't need the 20-point a game guy, but if he's doing what he was tonight, actively going after rebounds, being physical, not being a head case, it raises Purdue's ceiling drastically, just because like what he does from a rebounding standpoint at the 4 position is so big for this team. And what he can do offensively when called upon, it's just huge. I mean, he can draw so many fouls just from rebounding and being a gigantic body out there. And that frees up Clough. It frees up Daniel. Let's jump into some of the stats here, and I'll just hit back to you guys on what you want to go over with these players. We'll start kind of the obvious spot. Fletcher Loyer, we kind of talked about him, 9 for 14 from the field, 7 of 10 from 3. Only thing that was crazy, he goes 4 for 6 from the line. A little weird that he misses 2 free throws on a day where he's shooting it like this. You would think he was perfect. 2 rebounds and 3 assists. He had 1 rebound and 1 assist in about a 1 second span. Has 1 turnover. Like you said, is a plus 32, which is just outrageous. It's 8 points higher than anyone else on this team in a game they win by 30. So, Blake, what were your thoughts on Fletcher? Obviously, this almost feels like for a lot of us who are still screaming about, like, he's still fine. Everybody, he's fine. He's going to be fine. It's going to come. This almost feels like a sit back and take it in, like, where are all the haters now type of moment. But what were your thoughts on Fletcher in this game? And there was that one moment too, I don't know if you guys saw it, where the one guy was talking crap after he blocked Fletcher's shot, and then the next play he beats him on a backdoor on an inbounds and just gets right back in his face. And I was like, he's back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I loved everything about Fletcher's game. Low key on the defensive end, he was great. He took a great charge, just stepped in there. Coit had split a kind of a 2-man wedge there, split it right down. Fletch was in position. Mills hit a really tough 3 right in Fletcher's eye, but Fletch was right there, was in his face, coming around the screen. He got a couple offensive rebounds. He had 1 offensive rebound, kick out to Jakari for a 3. Fletch was just everywhere, right? And that's the Fletch we need. We know he's a defensive liability when he's a cone, But when he's in position on rotations and getting in the right place, he's smart enough to make up for that. He's got decent length to him. Fletch was great on the defensive end today, too. And I think that's going to be missed because of his shooting performance. But really glad to see him locked in on the scouting report today. And I thought he was great on that end.
Personally, I thought, just before to get to Dalton, I thought he just took ownership of everything from an offensive, defensive, on the floor. Like, we're going to talk shit. I'll be the guy that's doing it type of thing. You know, Braden's the lead by example guy, but in this game, it felt like Fletch was leading by example of his play rather than his voice. And that was really good to see. So Dalton, what were your thoughts on Fletcher in this game? You know, I think that was a good point by him. I thought his defense was good, not just serviceable, which we kind of hoped for, but it was actually pretty good.
There's a few people screaming to put him on the bench, not start him, and I really hope you feel silly, dude, because you're not trusting in the paint like I am. I mean, there's hard times every year with paint, but Loyer came out today. I saw him talking to Trey when Trey was trying to become a head case. He almost did the Carson to Harms type of Giphy, like, settle down, dude. And that's what we need from him. Like, the shooting's great, and it's good to see him going back, but I saw him beating people to spots off the dribble today. And
I was going to say, he drew 5 fouls, and they weren't like the Fletcher flopping fouls. They were like going to the basket.
Yeah, and that's what, like, he's going to get people in the air. They're trying to catch up every time when he runs off those screens. So there's a lane to it, and it's like, just go up strong. If you get fouled, don't be trying to do a circus shot, underhook layup, you know. Just get to the hole. He's 6'5". He can dribble more than people think. And it was just good to see the effort out of him today. Like, I don't care. Just play hard. You know, we have a beer at Purdue called Play Hard, you know? And if you're not playing hard, I don't know what you're doing on the court for Purdue. And it seemed like the last few games, like, haven't seen that out of Fletcher because things weren't going right. And you can control that no matter what's going down or what's happening. So it was good to see him back. I'm glad, man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It has to feel like a weight off of his shoulders too. And Painter always says that in post-game pressers and stuff, like, you can't let whether your shot goes in determine your effort. And I think that's kind of been the case with a couple guys on the team. And, you know, it's always easier. Basketball is always easy when the ball goes in the hoop. It's about what you can do when it's not going in that really defines you. And I thought that, like, you talking about playing hard, one of my favorite moments of this whole game, and it's kind of a weird favorite moment, was at the very end of the first half. They get that steal, and they go and slam one home. But if you go back and watch it, 3 of our guys are sprinting. They were never going to catch the guy. He was way ahead of them. We're sprinting to try to catch him. I think it was Oscar, Fletcher, and maybe CJ. TKR, there you go. But they were all sprinting, even though they had no chance. And we've all seen the last few games where there's been a couple times that guys haven't done that. And it was almost like message has been received here. So for me, that was one of my favorite moments of the game. I don't think any Purdue fan really cared that he went down and slammed it. It's like, oh, great dunk. You're now down 19 instead of 21. So, but I loved what I saw there. So that was huge for me.
One other situation like that, Derek, is that when Fletch had ball stolen, he got back on defense and stole it right back from Miles Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a really nice effort play too, where he didn't get frustrated that they just had a turnover, but he got back and then just stole the ball back. And that was huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of early, you know, Trey had those few, I don't know what was going on, where he couldn't catch the ball. You know, he looked like my 10-year-old son out there. Like, he's just dropping every pass that comes to him. Sorry, Jameson. I love you, buddy. But it's like, he got through that. Like, it feels like in previous games that would have derailed his entire game. And I was, you know, there was a lot of little things like that just, like, you know, I don't take so much from this game of like, oh, we beat Maryland by 30, we're back. But it's not that. It's the things that I saw, the intangible things, the confidence, the swagger, the fight, the effort, that kind of stuff makes me think, okay, I'm not somebody who's going to say we're back after this game or even after the Oregon game happens if we win that. But it feels like where we were going drastically in the wrong direction, we at least did a U-turn to get on the right side of the road. And now we can start catching back up with traffic, and then we can start passing people. So, you know, it's a big step in the right direction. Let's jump over to Braden. Obviously didn't play like the final 12 minutes, I think, of this game. Somewhere right around there. Plays 26 minutes. 6 for 9 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3, like we mentioned. 3 of 3 from the free throw line. Ends up at 19 points, 6 assists. Only 1 turnover. Thought that was good because he's been having some turnover issues of late. So it was good to see him only have the 1. And it was at the very end of the first half on that weird one, and just seemed like a mental lapse. But thought he played a pretty good game for, as far as like defensively. I thought he was fine. He didn't get any steals, but it just felt like he was doing a really good job of being there before somebody got the shot up. Instead of like, you'll see Braden a lot running because he's always catching up and jumping after the ball's in the air. Like it felt like he was getting there before the shot and stopping it from happening. So, Blake, what was your thoughts on Braden tonight? For the time that he did play.
Yeah, well, what I noticed, and I want to go back and watch the game. Coit's first bucket was against CJ. They both had him, but I think Braden intentionally had Coit to start. And Coit's a smaller guy, and he doesn't necessarily get to the rim, but he's shifty and he's got a great step back game. And I thought Braden was just locked in on the scout on Coit and was all over him. And Coit didn't have any good looks. He got that 1-3 against CJ on the step back, but then didn't have another bucket until the second half. And
that was when he got one-on-one with Clough, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I thought Braden just really showed his effort and his attention to detail on how he guarded Coit. I really was glad to see that. We need him to be a good defender against other good guards. It can't just be CJ.
Yeah, that's a good call out because having CJ is great, but when you get into tournament time and against some of these really good teams, they're going to have, more than one option. And Braden has the length and the ability to be a great defender. And I know sometimes you have to protect a guy who's used so heavily on offense, but Braden might be the only guy in the country who you really don't have to because he has so much stamina. It's incredible watching him. It's like we just watched that Volkanovski fight Saturday, and it was like he's like Volk. Like he could go 20 rounds if he wanted. He's just going to get worse for the opponent every extra minute they go. What was your thoughts on Braden's game today, Dalton?
Yeah, just everything you can ask for out of a point guard. My focus, like, obviously he had a decent Braden offensive game, but like that's what him and Fletcher need to do. Like, if we're going to play help and all that, you have to beat your man to the spot. Like, you pick a spot on the floor and don't let him get there before you. And we saw that as like they were getting side to side a lot better. I think that's why we saw so much of Jakari today is because CJ was not beating his man to the spot. He was getting cooked off first steps. And Braden and Fletcher did a great job of, getting to where they needed to be, even if they needed help. And that's how this defense works. If you're going to switch, you're going to help, you're going to play that system, these guys have to be a little quicker in that. And with Braden, it was just like, it was everything he talked about on running point. It was like, everyone can shut up. Like, obviously it's Maryland. We'll see what happens when we get in this crazy stretch, but in order to get to that crazy stretch, we need these 2 games to go well, to go in with confidence, or it could have gotten ugly if we had dropped one of these 2. So let's keep that rolling. And Braden had a fantastic day, man. Can't say much else.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that, 2 guys who scored 29 and 19, and we've really hit mostly on what they did on the defensive side of the ball. I think that says a lot. Not necessarily about this game specifically, but about those 2 guys as leaders of this team. Because, yeah, they went out and they did their thing offensively, but what we all saw was an improved effort on the defensive side of the ball. And it's funny how that always tends to lend itself to better offense when you're playing better defense. I think they mentioned it on the broadcast a couple of times that Purdue just felt like they were filling the gaps before Maryland ever got to them. So when Maryland was trying to drive or trying to cut, it's like Purdue was always there one step ahead of them. And my dad texted me early in this game and said Purdue's getting every 50-50 ball, and it hasn't felt like that's happened in a long time. So that was a refreshing thing to see, and I think like Braden and Fletcher are the 2 probably most cerebral players on this team. So it was really, they lead a lot of that when it comes to like those 50-50 balls and getting to those. So let's jump to CJ, because I did think this was a weird game for CJ. I don't know if maybe he's a little I don't want to make excuses that aren't, real, but it just felt like he was a step slow compared to normal. Goes 0 for 2 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, 1 for 2 from the free throw line. It feels like he never misses free throws. 4 rebounds, only has 1 point, 2 assists. Didn't I wouldn't say he did anything necessarily bad. He didn't look like his normal self on defense, but he's been kind of off shooting recently in recent times. I'm still waiting on him to do the same thing kind of Fletcher did and just have a game where he goes 5 for 6 from 3 or something. But did you guys notice anything with Fletcher, Blake, that pointed to that, or was this just kind of one of those games where offensively he didn't need to do much because of what the Stars were doing, and defensively sometimes the matchup's just not right for you?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head there. Everything you said is the same questions I'm asking myself. I'm not sure if he's just feeling it a little bit in his legs, or if he just didn't need to do much because other guys were. But it's really quiet. CJ Knight, 0 for 2 again from 3. Really want to see him be able to get some shots go down against Oregon, because we're going to need him. We need him to be an efficient guy that every team knows he can go 2 for 2 from 3 if you leave him open. But don't have too much else to say on CJ. It's a really quiet night.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a book with all the pages are blank kind of in this game. So, Dalton, did you have notice anything with CJ or anything that you saw that might have contributed, or was this just one of those nights, that we see from Jakari more often than we see from CJ, where there's just not a lot to talk about?
Yeah, it was kind of like that, but also a notable statistic that I pulled for CJ is he is shooting 30% in conference. Which is concerning from 3, obviously. His 2, not quite that bad. That'd be ultimately concerning, but he is shooting 30% from 3. Conference has not been good to him, and a lot of his looks are wide open. So we're gonna need to see those start falling, CJ, or you're probably gonna see. It looks like Jakari caught some motion, so you might see that dude picking up the minutes if this continues the shooting woes, because like it or not, CJ is a guy we need to knock down open threes, because a lot of teams, you can only scout for so many people, so he may not be one of them. So we're going to need to see that happen.
Yeah, not a lot to add from CJ, honestly. Thought he just looked a step slow. I don't know what it was. Could be nothing, could be something. But I'm not going to dwell too much on it. But like you said, Jakari catching motion, plays more than CJ for the first time in what feels like maybe a month or 2. Gets more minutes than CJ, and earned him, in my opinion. He goes 3 for 7 from the field, had that huge play where he got the steal and a dunk, and didn't really even know he could do it all like that. The way he went up and 2-hand slammed that thing in fast break, that's not easy to do. Not that I would know. Goes 2 for 5 from 3, looked confident shooting all the threes he took. He seems like one of the guys who's starting to get a little confident shooting, even if a guy's right there. Like, he's just quick triggering it. And if you look at his shot last year, I happened to watch a game that was on I can't remember what game it was. I'm blanking now, but it was on the Big Ten and 60 from last season. And I saw him shoot, and I'm like, man, his shot is significantly quicker this year than it was last year. I don't know form-wise or anything, but it's quicker. But goes 2 for 5 from 3 in this game, 4 for 4 from the line. Jakari might be the best free throw shooter on this team that nobody talks about. He never misses free throws. I don't know what he's shooting now in the season, but
his stroke is so simple at the line. It's just beautiful. A simple, pure stroke. I really like it. I agree with you. He's clutch at the free throw line.
And I think if somebody could just maybe Big Dog needs to call him and be like, yo, bro, you need to go to the basket more. One, you're great at free throw shooting. You're strong as hell. Yep. Take it to the hole, my guy. But he finishes with 12 points. Didn't have any assists. Didn't really record a ton of other stats. Had a steal, but thought he was great out there defensively. Just taking up, he's got that little extra bulk to him. And there's something about him that's just a little more intimidating, I think, when he matches up against you. And then like Dalton said, you got to make the shots when they're open. And, he goes 2 for 5. Omer goes 1 for 1. Really, that's the only thing you need at that other guard spot is to hit those open looks and play good defense. And I thought both those guys did that. Dalton, what were your thoughts on Jakari in this game? I know you're a ride or die for Jakari.
Yeah, I loved what he did, man. He was defensively strong, and they have some big guards, big physical guards. So you need Jakari to be ready to go in those type of games, and him hitting shots is just an ultimate difference maker for him. He is shooting on low volume 11 of 29 in conference play this year from three. So, I mean, 37%, that's bashing over CJ, and like we're going to need both of them. But right now, if one of them can get going and Painter can figure it out early, who's going and who's not, that can make a huge difference in a game. But ultimately, Jakari did what he does, and like you said, he needs to put the ball on the deck more. When he gets it, pump like he was pumping earlier, and the falls weren't. Geez, I can't even talk, dude. The shots were not falling, so there's nothing to really pump fake on. But then, now they're falling. You get one or two to fall, they're gonna start jumping at you and put it on the deck and go to the hole, my guy.
Yeah, 100%. Blake, any thoughts on Jakari?
No, I don't think I have anything to add to what you guys covered. I think you hit it all.
Perfect.
Good game from him. Glad to see it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And then we'll go to the last guy here in the guard room, and then we'll jump to the big guys. Obviously, a lot of Omer's minutes came late, but thought he looked pretty good out there. He still, to me, is just a little slow making the read. But his shooting has really turned a corner since that really bad slump he was in. Goes 1 for 1 from three, makes both his free throws, gets 3 rebounds, 9 points, 1 assist, 1 steal. Like, really had a lot of motion on the stat line. 9 points. Thought it was a good game from him. That mid-range is just as butter as it gets. And my biggest takeaway, again, kind of like the other guards, I thought his defense looked very good as a physical body. Like, he was chesting guys up. He's really good at staying like vertical, but in a stance, and just using his chest and keeping his arm, like Chris Kramer used to do. If you keep those arms out, they can't call a foul on you. And I think if he really, like, by next year, I think we could see him become an elite defender if he really learns how to do that, because he's got the size, he's got the speed. Blake, what were your thoughts on Omer in this game?
Yeah, liked what I saw. I think he still does go to the mid-range pull up a little bit too early. There was one that he missed in the first half that was just really quick in the shot clock. And it was a shot that he could get anytime he wanted it. And a guy actually was right there in his face. He missed it short. I would just like him to be a little bit more selective in when he pulls that. He had another one where he snaked it really nice. Got the guy behind him on his hip, rose up and knocked it down. Had a nice touch on it. It bounced on the rim a couple times, but really I just want him to not settle for the midi too quick in the shot clock. Other than that, I liked everything that I saw from him. Thought he played good defense. A couple times guys drove baseline on him and he got down to a spot, cut him off. So really like what I see from him lately.
Yeah. Dalton?
Yeah, Omer cemented himself as a 2 guard for me next year today. Just I've been given, like, this is a little critique. The passing is just not there. The passing level, seeing the lanes for him. But I will say when he needs to go get a bucket, he's a bucket getter. And like, we have maybe 2 people on the team that are like 3. CJ, Omer, and Braden are 3 people that can go get a bucket in those late shot clock moments. And we heard the announcers talk about it today. It's like Purdue just pisses around for 15 seconds and then runs a quick set, and we're doing that again, to where we're like coming up the floor slow, and then we get into our set about 15 seconds. And we saw that a lot last year, and it led to a lot of bad shots. But I think having those extra playmakers like Omer and CJ or Braden who can go get a bucket whenever they need to helps. I was very appreciative of Omer's 18 minutes today, and he was +6, so no complaints. I just think Ertel is such an elite passer that I don't think he'll be the one next year.
I think Omer's our point next year still.
You think?
I think he can pass. I think it's the role that he's being asked to play right now. His post-entry feeds are really smooth. I mean, he gets the ball into the post really well. And I think we've seen him be able to facilitate on the perimeter. I just don't think that's what he's being asked to do right now. I'm still all in on Omer being our point guard next year. I think Ertel's more of a 2.
I'm open to it, man. I think both of these guys have a spot somewhere in the starting lineup. Me and Derek were talking starting lineups yesterday, and it got pretty challenging. So there's a
It's
lot of
weird.
guys.
We're strong at the 1 to 3 position as far as like depth. It's really going to come down to who breaks out. You know, when you get into Antoine West, like, you know, Braden says he's going to be the leading scorer. So like, what's that mean? You got Ertl, you got Meyer, you got CJ, you got Jakari. Is Weber a 3? Is Benter a 3? Do you get another guy in the portal? If you get Reese Austin, is he ready to play right away? Like, there's so much that goes into, you know, who transfers, who doesn't. It's a different world we live in. But yeah, I loved what Omer did. I think he's getting more comfortable in this role. You know, like learning, like, okay, when Braden's out, I got to be the one to go shoot the ball if we need a shot. When Braden's in, I just go hang around and try to get open for a 3. Like, that's his role. And he's probably slowly realizing and quickly at the same time, like, the better defense I play, the more I play. Like, this is a direct correlation from Matt Painter, for everybody, unless your name is like Braden Smith. Like, if you play better defense.
Omer is shooting better from 3 than he is from 2 in conference play.
Oh, he's been really good in conference.
8 for 19 from 2 and 11 for 24 from 3.
What's that, 45%?
That's crazy.
45.8% in conference only. So
great stat, Dalton.
Let's go, dude.
And this is a guy that a month ago we were all like, man, I don't know if he's playable.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. But guess what? His volume goes down, his efficiency goes up. I think a lot of it was coming over from that league he was in and the team he was on. He was so used to just high volume that when he came over here and it was like, okay, you're only going to get 6 shots a game instead of 16, the pressure starts mounting when the first one doesn't go in. And I remember for like 4 or 5 shows in a row, my hope for him was, when we did what do we want from this guy, was make your first one, because it feels like when he does, he's a completely different player. But yeah, I'm impressed with him. The better he gets, it only raises our ceiling. It can never really hurt us. So happy to see that. All right, let's go to the big guys. Want to hit on Trey. Obviously, doesn't score a ton, goes 3 for 5, so that's fine. 7 points, but he does pick up 10 rebounds, draws 2 fouls, has 4 assists. The passing seems to be real. Has 3 turnovers. I don't know that all of those were his fault, but like I said early on, he just did seem to be
two were very early. Remember those passes that kind of came in?
Fletch like nutmegged somebody and nutmegged Trey, because they said it on the broadcast as first ever double nutmeg or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Those broadcasters were wild, but
Raftery.
You know, Raftery, he's always just saying the craziest
Hilarious
stuff. And then I saw was it Buzz Williams picked up a chair at one point? I don't know if that was real, but there was pictures online that he had a chair in his hand. And I was like, what are we doing? But anyway, yeah, I thought Trey was great. I thought it started out a little funky, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. And he stuck with it. And, you know, like I said, I only need him to rebound. So, Blake, what were your thoughts on Trey?
TK rebounds, man. He had 8 in the first half, and Maryland had 7.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
That tells you all you need to know.
Yeah,
that's a lead stat right there,
It's the second time this year he's out rebounded an entire team in the first half. Now, he's never been able to duplicate that in the second half, and that's fine. But when he comes out the gate and establishes that, phenomenal. I thought he was excellent. I thought he did well on defense too. I thought he was in position. He didn't do anything to pick up stupid early fouls. Just stood his ground, was in position, boxed out. I thought it was a fantastic TKR game, and thought my favorite play of the game was, you mentioned earlier, Derek. It was right at the end of the half. Fletcher was at the line for free throws, misses his second free throw. TKR fights for it, kicks it out, and Fletch hits his 5th 3 with like 30 seconds left in the half. That was play of the game. You know, just all heart and hustle from TKR in the first half. Really came out and showed us who he was. And I think that's what Braden talked about in running point, right? Like, we got to find our identity. And I think TK knows that on this team, his identity is being a rebounder. And the more that he just focuses on that, the better we'll be. Scoring will come at times, but it's not his primary purpose.
Yeah, I think the more he leans into that, the more he'll score. Because the more offensive rebounds he collects, he's either going to score or assist. I mean, I would love to know how many of his assists this year have come off of an offensive rebound where he gets it and immediately kicks it. So, yeah, I agree. What were your thoughts on TKR, Dalton?
Yeah, I loved what I saw. 3 of 5, super efficient, grabbing boards. He was physical and not out of his head. He, basically broke his nose and didn't lose his mind. I didn't see him say one thing to an official today. I saw him play the game, dude. That's the TK I want to see. Crazy stat about TK is he is 8th in offensive rebounding percentage in possessions in the Big Ten. So it's on KenPom. It's the offensive rebound percentage stat, and he's got a 12, which is 8th in the conference, and he is 6th in defensive rebounding. So just a complete turnaround from TK. Another get-right game for another guy, and, if we can continue with his attitude being the way it is, I think Trey is more of a leader than people give him credit for just because he doesn't talk so much. But, you got to know the younger guys look up to him. Like, who does DJ look up to, Even Oscar coming over is like, Trey's an All-American, so you look up to that. And when he's performing, I think it just pushes everyone else forward. So, good game from Trey.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is when Trey does get one of those rebounds or is on the floor fighting for something, the rest of the team gets pretty hyped. It seems to be like Braden is the on the floor, lead by example. Fletcher's the talk leader. And then you have TKR, who's just like when he's hustling and fighting, it makes everybody else want to do it type of thing. So I think that's a good call out right there. And yeah, his rebounding, those numbers you said have actually went down, I believe, because he has had a few games in a row of not rebounding that well. So there was a point where I know him and Oscar both were in the top 5 nationally in offensive rebounding rate. So yeah, great to see from him. I really liked what I saw from Trey in this game. And to me, this is maybe a couple points shy, but pretty close to his perfect stat line, which would be like 10, 10, and 5. Like, I think that if you give me that every night from Trey and you give me Fletcher just shooting 40+%, then Purdue is one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country. We just haven't had that for a while, so it's looked pretty ugly. And it's funny, I know Blake is too, in the Sleepers Discord, and you go into the live chat, and today, for instance, Greg said something about there's 4 teams in the Big Ten that can win a national title. He was excluding Michigan State. He was saying Michigan, Purdue, Nebraska, Illinois. And all of the Illinois fans, the Michigan fans were like, Purdue, are you kidding me? And I'm just sitting there like 2 weeks ago, you wouldn't even have blinked an eye at that. You're taking a 3-game bad, and a lot of Purdue fans are the same way. Like, we played 3 bad games. But if you go back 14 days, we were 17-1, number like 2 or 3 in every metric, in every statistical category. And you would have said this is a national title contender, Final Four or bust situation. Like, to me, a few bad games because your stars have bad games doesn't completely derail you like a lot of people are making it out to be. So huge upcoming stretch for Purdue after the Oregon game. So we're really going to find out where we stand. You go beat Nebraska, Michigan State, and Michigan, and everybody completely flips the script the other way again. So let's go to Oscar. Thought it was a pretty quiet game for Oscar. Only plays 18 minutes, 6 points, still is a +9 in the game. Only 3 rebounds. I got to get the rebounding back with him. That's my thoughts. Dalton, you champion Oscar. So what were your thoughts on his game and just his kind of recent, what feels like he's almost in a little bit of a lull? I don't even know if that's accurate or not, but.
My feeling on Oscar today, still a +9. Still good when he's on the floor, still does what he needs to. He sets the best screens. I think when TKR is out rebounding an entire team by himself in the first half, there's not a lot to get. The buckets, still efficient on his 2 of 2. Oscar fills the role that he needs to fill for the game, and I don't think this game was any different in that aspect, especially when DJ came in and showed that he wanted to go today. Kid came in, played tough. So Oscar, just an Oscar game, fills the role.
Yeah, and I'll throw it to you here in a second, Blake. I'm going to throw DJ into this because DJ had a good game, in my opinion, from what I saw. Draws 4 fouls. My favorite moment with DJ in this game wasn't the 3 or anything else. It was when he caught that ball, that pass, and went to the other side and dunked it. Like,
didn't
let's
wait.
see more of that, bud.
Yes.
And it didn't look hard. Okay, it didn't look like it was hard for him to do that. So he finishes with 8 points. He draws 4 fouls. He has 5 rebounds. Thought he was a plus 21 in this game. Doesn't miss a shot. 2 for 2 from the field. 1 for 1 from 3. 3 for 4 from the line. Just thought it was a one of those few games so far, at least in the Big Ten, where he hasn't looked. I don't know what the right word is. Weak. He looked tougher in this game. Maybe there was a mentality switch for him too. But any thoughts on Oscar or DJ, Blake?
Well, I was just looking at the combined stats when you throw them in there. Basically, got a 10-10 game from them. 14 points, 9 or 11 boards between them. When we're getting consistent production from the 5 spot, it doesn't really matter who it comes from. I liked Clough's game. I thought he was doing a good job pinning his guy down deep. He sealed his guy several times. Didn't always get the pass, but sealed his guy several times. Finished at the rim. Really liked what I saw. And like you said, Dalton, TK was cleaning up, so there wasn't a whole lot. We were hitting a lot of shots, so there's not a lot of offensive rebounding opportunities. I thought he was solid today. I was fine with it.
Yeah, I did want to say he had 3 offensive rebounds, and Purdue had 2 team ones, which are ones they don't contribute, which I believe both were Daniel's tip outs. So if you really think about it, he had 5 offensive rebounds.
Yep.
And I always look at our big man spot. Like if our 3 and 4, not including Benter, are like if our 3 bigs get us 20 and 20, we're really hard to beat. And in this game, they get you 21 and 18. It's going to be tough to beat Purdue when you're getting that production from that spot. And that doesn't include Benter. He threw in 3 rebounds as well. So I was just impressed with the way both of them plays. Any thoughts on Daniel? I know you briefly mentioned him, Dalton. I didn't know if you had anything else.
I just thought it was a tough game from him, man. He was not okay with getting pushed around. He made them call fouls. That was something that impressed me. That dude there were dudes hanging all over him. And he stood his ground. He looked a little frustrated at time to time, but I think that's just who DJ is. But yeah, just finally looked like he was feeling himself. He hit that 3, man. That was, if that gets going, it's over, dude. Ride it up, because if he gets a little freedom, he gets a little motion in the 3, ride it up. I also don't like that Ken Palm has his comparison as Matt Harms from 2018. So if anybody's listening that helps run that site, please change that.
Yeah. Can we get a better one? I mean, I don't hate that. Matt Harms is a good shot blocker. I have this theory that DJ is produce like a DJ 3 is a kill shot by itself. Like if you let DJ hit a 3, we're probably up because he ain't shooting it if it's a close game. And if he hits it, like in today's was a perfect example. Fletcher hits a 3, gets fouled, immediately DJ, it's a 6-point play. DJ then hits a 3 right after that. And that felt like, because I think they had cut it to like 18, and I know that's not like anything crazy. It was 16 or 18, but we were up 25 and they cut it down a little, and it was like, come on, Purdue. And then boom, boom, you have that happen. It's right back to 24, and it's like, okay, this it's never coming back. So last 2 guys real quick. Obviously not a lot to say with either of them. Liam Murphy gets in the game though. Throws up 4 shots in 7 minutes. He said, I'm here now, baby. Only makes 1 of them, misses both his 3s. Gets 2 rebounds though. A lot of people were like, I want more Murphy minutes. I'm not that guy. I think he looks lost out there defensively and just from a where to be standpoint. But it's good to see him get in the game. Same with like Aaron Fine and Jack Lusk. Like if those guys are in the game, it's good news for Purdue. But Jack Benner thought he was shots weren't going in today. He still gets 12 minutes, but in game he didn't play that final minutes where all the subs came in very much. I thought he would have played more there, but I think he's cemented himself enough that he's not really one of those guys anymore. He is in a very important piece to this team. So misses all 3 of his 3s. I think when he doesn't hit one of those first few, his minutes are going to drop pretty quickly, exponentially, because that's a huge part of his game. But he also picked up 3 fouls, so he got in a weird little foul trouble time frame there. But does have 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Really was the worst plus minus on the team. Just didn't seem like a game that was really set up perfectly for him when Trey's playing this way. And, our size advantage is really helping us on the offensive and defensive glass. Like, and when Fletcher's making 7 threes and Braden's making 4, do you really need another guy out there who can stretch the floor? No, you probably just need guys in there that are going to rebound the ball. So, any thoughts on any of those other guys, Blake?
Yeah, I thought Benter, didn't have a great game, but we didn't need him to with TK being TK rebounds today. I like Liam. Derek, you and I were in Discord earlier talking about this just a little bit with some other Purdue fans. But I think Liam is showing up behind the scenes probably in ways that we don't see. Braden on Running Point said that when they had a team meeting, even Liam was speaking up and saying some things. He's always engaged on the bench. I don't think he's complaining that he's not getting minutes. I think he knew what he was committing to with this team. He was a little bit of an insurance piece. And yeah, we can look back and say maybe in the Iowa State game, it would have been nice to have plugged him in there at some point just because nothing was working. But I'm not asking for more Liam minutes. But I love him getting in garbage minutes and getting up his shots. Like, you got to do that, man. So props to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's putting him up. He should go play for my son's team because nobody passes on that team. Yeah, Dalton, anything on those guys? Obviously, we got to see our boy come in the game and look like he made a bunny floater that was just going to be all level, just dripped off the front rim.
Yeah, it was a tough bucket for Mr. Aaron Fine. I was really hoping that one dropped. Love to see Liam get shots because I think if you really you need a 3 at some point, he may be the guy. So you got to keep his spirits high, keep them shots flowing. When he gets minutes, let him shoot. Benter, he was good on the boards today, but like you guys said, when TKR's performing and Jakari's coming in and Fletcher's hitting, where's he fit in? Like,
Right.
where are the minutes for him? You got those 3 guys going. Not a whole lot for him to do because those are 3 elite players. Benter will be elite. He's just not quite on that level yet. It wasn't a bad game, so I don't see any turnovers from him. He had 1 turnover, so.
Yeah,
but I think that happened.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that turnover happened right after he made like a really good play, and then he tried to make a fancy pass or something and threw it away. I think my only real thought, and it really just echoes what Dalton just said, is that in a game where those 3 guys are doing like Benter's there to fill the gaps when any one of those people is not doing an excellent job at what they do. And when they're all doing an excellent job at what they do, it's like, well, just let them do that. Benter's like the guy that can kind of do everything and fill in so many different roles. So if everything's going pretty well, there's no real reason for him to play a ton. It's basically just come in and jack the ball up. And if you get hot, we're just going to let you shoot 6 threes in 12 minutes and see what happens. They just didn't go in today. So, all right,
And
that's
Saunders,
the players.
Saunders for Maryland didn't get going at all today. He's actually their best 3-point shooter, their 4-man. And if he was going off or something, then I think Benter could have been a good defensive match for him. But he really wasn't doing anything. He fouled out with 0 points. I mean, really just shut him down. So I don't know if there was any scheming we did defensively to limit Saunders. I remember one really good clean look he got from 3 and he just missed it. But maybe Benter gets more minutes if Saunders is doing something. But he just wasn't doing anything. I just think it wasn't a game that we needed Jack very much.
Yeah, I did see a comparison from Saunders to. Go ahead, what?
Saunders shoots 45% from 3 in conference play. Like, that's intense.
I saw that somebody put on Twitter a picture of Saunders next to Ethan Morton. That game, Ethan fouled out with no points. He just came in to commit fouls. Thought that was kind of funny.
Cardio
Morton. Another one was like Solomon Washington, who's a really good player for them. He ends up a minus 30 in this game. Oh, tough. Plays 37 minutes and
that's why he's a minus 30 because we won the game by 30 points. And
exactly.
He played the whole game.
But like, you play the whole game, and like, to me, that's like almost like your coach hates you. Like, come on, take me out, coach. We're getting our asses kicked. Can I get a breather here? And the coach is like, no, you stay in the game. The only guy I thought that really kind of stepped up for them and played like, go ahead.
So I just wanted to share real quick. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the coaching box where the coaches are supposed to say. Since we're speaking on Maryland, I just wanted to share what Buzz Williams' coaching box actually looked like today. So if you guys can see that,
It's the
there it
whole
is.
arena.
He was actually allowed to coach anywhere on that space shown. So really, really cool to see the refs let that expand for Buzz to be able to get all the way around the stadium. And I was really excited to see that. So thanks for letting me share, guys. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, dude. Have you stopped sharing? Because it still shows you're sharing.
Yeah. I actually did stop sharing, so I'll
Okay.
edit this. We're good.
That's fine. Yeah, that was that I hate coaches that do that, dude. They're never like what's the rule for if we're just gonna let it happen the entire game? I hate it. Like, it's so dumb. Like, there was so many times he was on the floor while a play is happening. Like, he's in the game right now. Like, he is part of the game. Like, get him off the damn floor. It's crazy. But yeah, I thought the only guy for them that really surprised me was Andre Mills. Had a good game, 18 points, drew 6 fouls, had 6 rebounds, had 3 assists, no turnovers. Thought he was really good, actually. Played 30 minutes and was only a -10. So if you think about that, the other 10 minutes that he wasn't in the game, they were -20. So I thought he was pretty sensational for them as far as guys on their team. Couple of stats I thought were interesting for the whole game. Purdue shot 14 of 15 in the second half from the free throw line. Really was impressed with that because we've had some free throw shooting struggles relatively recently. So Purdue shoots 9 of 17 from 3 in the first half, 53%, 46% in the second half. Pretty funny stat. They shot exactly 6 for 13 from 3 and from 2 in the second half. So it's had the exact same shooting splits, 6 of 13 from 2, 6 of 13 from 3. The Maryland team shoots 13 for 32 from 2 in this game. Thought that was pretty horrific. Purdue goes 22 to 4 points off turnovers. That felt like a big part of this game. Paint scoring was pretty close. Second chance scoring, Purdue won 19 to 12. And fast break scoring there wasn't a whole lot of anyway, but did think it was a pretty good effort by Purdue converting on the turnovers that Maryland committed. It's not a thing Purdue does a ton of, to be honest. So it was kind of nice to see. And that goes to what we talked about when we were going through all those players about talking about defense. You know, when you're making turnovers happen and you're converting those into offense or live ball turnovers, you know, that's an easy way to get cheap buckets and to build a pretty good lead in the game. So, all right, last couple of things I want to do before we just get into like player of the game and stuff. I want to go, since we did take 3 games or a couple games off here, and we lost 3 in a row, and you know now we're starting to look toward the future. I want to do a look back and a look forward, where first we kind of look back at those 3 games, you know, and just give a little bit of like context to, you know, it's always easier after you've had time to process on what you think of those, maybe why they happened or what they really meant, or if they even have any significance at all. And then after that, I want us each to kind of look forward on what we're looking to here for the next, you know, for February. You know, February is a huge month for this Purdue team. I still think there's a minimal but outside chance that they could still tie for the Big Ten. I still think there's a shot at a 1 seed if you win out. You know, you got 3 huge games you still have to play. And, you know, obviously we're going to be looking towards March. So Dalton, I'll start with you. Kind of let Blake gather thoughts on that kind of stuff. What are your looking back, you know, on these last few games? We didn't recap the IU game. And so nobody's ever really heard any of our thoughts on that. You know, so if you want to give your thoughts on that too, feel free.
I don't. I don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
talk about it. That's why we didn't talk about it, because I wouldn't those wouldn't have been fun. We did at Illinois, didn't we? Post game. But the Indiana game I just don't even want to think about. I mean, you shoot 7 for 15 from 3 and lose by 5, or from free throw.
Yeah.
I I don't understand it. They're not good. they'll probably be, if they make it in, they'll be a first weekend team, get bounced by some, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 seed. I hate IU, but looking ahead, I think if we can win 3 out of the next 4 games, we are looking very good for a high 2 seed. I can't say 1 seed. I think we'd have to go 4-0 in the next 4, 5, 6, probably 6-0 to get a 1 seed. At this point in the season, I mean, obviously everyone else is still playing ball too, and a lot of things can happen. But I think right now where we sit after that 3-game skid, I think 6-0 would have to happen to lock that up, because you're talking 5 quad one games. So we'll see what this team is made of again. Like, these are not UCLA or like at Indiana, These are games, at Nebraska, home against Michigan. Those are big deal games. So we're going to find out who we really are again. Seems like this whole season is just us finding out who we really are. So
Yeah, one of these days we'll
that's,
land on something.
I mean, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I think on the next few. Win and determine your destiny. So I'll be right back, by the way, fellas.
Yeah,
Be right
I
back.
mean, all right, just so everybody knows, if you don't know already, our next games are home against Oregon. We only have 1 game next week, so we do have a nice break here, basically a whole program reset, from the fan base to the players.
Yep.
Then that's where it gets crazy. We go at Nebraska, at Iowa, not an easy game. Home against Michigan, home against IU, home against Michigan State, at Ohio State, at Northwestern, home against Wisconsin. I mean, the remainder of our last, was it 9 games? I would say 7 of them are difficult games. Like, not just kind of hard, like difficult. And I would say 3 of them are extremely hard games. So when I say this is a crucial stretch, I don't say it because like we need to go 9-0, but if I'm being honest, if we want to win the Big Ten, we probably do at least 8-1. And if we want a 1 seed, we probably need to go 9-0. A 2 seed's probably more like 8-1, 7-2. A 3 seed is 6-3, 5-4. I think we still can get a 3 seed. But so yeah, Blake, what are your thoughts of like what's transpired? Kind of the state, of, we've heard our players talk a little bit more candidly here recently about the fan base and kind of how the fan base has acted over these 3 losses. And so what are your thoughts on what's kind of transpired? And then, what are your thoughts obviously moving into that stretch?
Yeah, we kind of at the start of the episode here, you talked about it just a little bit. There were some idiots that don't know ball saying Fletcher needed to be benched, right? Dalton, you need to, when you do post-production edits, you need to bring in Painter's, presser clip on that, because like nobody thinks that Fletcher should get benched. All of us could agree that when he's not making shots and he's getting attacked on defense, he might need less minutes in matchups. Nobody's saying he needs to be benched. Nobody's saying he needs to stop shooting. He has to keep shooting. He did that. So that's one thing, kind of just looking back on the last few games, this team, they got here with the big 3. They're going to get to where they want to go with the big 3. Nothing is changing with that. Looking ahead to the next few games, if we can go 3-1 in this next 4-game stretch, that would be huge. That would be huge. These are some tough games coming up. Playing at Iowa, that will not be an easy game. I really am excited to watch the Nebraska game. But overall, I know this isn't probably every Purdue fan's opinion, and I'm fine with that. But once we dropped the 3 in a row, I really just said, you know what? I don't care about the Big Ten season, because I really don't. I do. I'd like to see another banner, but this year is stacked. I mean, it's such a competitive, slate of teams. Getting the big 3 at Mackey Arena only and home and not going away, I thought gave us a really good shot. But the reality is we dropped some that we shouldn't have dropped. And when you do that in the first half of the Big Ten slate, it's really hard to make it up in the second half. So I think our players are probably a little bit the same. And you said it, Derek. You said these guys have always been talking about March. That's what they really care about. And so I'm okay. I'm not going to have anxiety anymore. I've decided that after that IU loss and the Illinois loss, like I was just a mess. I was like, this is not healthy, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
My mother would always say, boys, it's just a basketball game, right? And so it is, right? The Big Ten season matters. The guys won that their freshman and sophomore year. They won Big Ten championships. They want a national championship. I believe this team can win a national championship. It's going to be really tough to win the Big Ten. I'm okay if we don't. We're probably not going to get a 1 seed. We probably lost out on that opportunity. That's okay. It helps. You don't have to have it. But getting a 3 seed as opposed to a 4 would be big. So let's keep fighting for position. A 2 versus a 3 is not that big of a deal. Right. Not a whole lot of difference there. So I want us to be a top 3 seed. Got to keep working towards that. 3-1 in the next 4 would be huge towards that.
Agreed. And I'll kind of give mine real quick. What you just said is what I've been saying for a while is you just don't want to be a 4 because the 1s are really strong as of, currently Duke, Arizona, Michigan, Iowa State, whoever those 4 are, those are probably the guys you want to avoid until it's time to go to the Final Four.
Unless it's UConn. I'll take UConn.
I'll take UConn all day long. Yeah. But it would never be UConn because Purdue's not that lucky. It would be probably Arizona. I just know how that goes. But it's getting the 2 or 3 is big. Like you said, they're interchangeable. Most 2s and most 3 seeds are pretty close. And I think Purdue, we were talking about this when we were doing our rankings. Like there's a gap. There's a 3-team window that we have ranked just above Purdue, Kansas, and Florida. Okay. And I think Purdue, Kansas, and Florida can all win a national title. I don't think the 3 teams ahead of them can win. It's like Gonzaga, Michigan State, and Nebraska. I'm like, I don't think those 3 teams are as good as the 3 behind them. It's just the way things have gone so far. But those are your 2-3 seed differences. Like there's not a lot there. So yeah, looking back, to me, the IU game was inevitable. I don't know why. I never felt good the second that game was upcoming. Like never thought we were going to win that game. Just didn't. I mean, I pretended. I tried to trick myself, but deep down, I was like, we're not going to win this game. We're not playing that well. IU needs this way more than we do. They're going to roll out a national title trophy. Signetti's going to be on the front row. Like this, the guys haven't shown the effort. And then 5 minutes of that game, I was like, no, we ain't winning this game.
We let Dorn get loose several times in the first 10 minutes of the game. And after watching him play at Rutgers, I watched that game. I watched the IU Rutgers game. I was like, man, if we let Dorn get going, we're not going to win this game. And, we let him get going. Guys were helping off of him to help on dribble penetration. Like, let IU go to the rim. Who cares? Yeah. Right?
Dorn is their CJ. Like, if he gets going.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what happened. And then he did it again against UCLA. Like,
yeah, that's how they beat UCLA. Yep.
It's kind of perfect timing for them because he was really nobody. And then boom, he
Conaway going out has been a huge gift to them.
It has. Well, and Enright's done a lot of really good things. So, we had to do our top 25 and this is not something we do, but IU's in there, because they had such a great week. It was for a long time. It was, they can't beat anybody. Well, they just had 2 quad 1 wins back to back. Say what you want. Those are good wins in 2 very good spots. So yeah, just looking back, to me, say what you want. The UCLA win was kind of fluky. They're not a bad team, but Purdue should have won that game. That was just like almost something. That was almost like the first sign everybody should have been like, is something off? Because like we just blew a 6-point lead with 2 minutes left with one of the oldest, most continuity senior classes in college basketball. Shouldn't happen. And then you go to the Illinois game and it's like our offense looked excellent, but we give up 46 to a freshman. It's like we're losing these games in really obscure ways. That's usually not a sign of a team that's really all together. Something's off. And then that's when I said to go into that IU game. So looking back, it's like, I know that national title is our goal and stuff, and that most national title teams don't lose 3 games in a row, and that's fine. But the most national title teams in history didn't live in the NIL era, and most of the ones that are in the NIL era now don't have 3 returning seniors with the legacy that these 3 have. So to me, it's hard to take historical data specifically with this Purdue team.
Hey, chill out, man.
I know that you're running this
Chill
crazy
out on
spreadsheet
my
right now.
sheet.
No,
He is targeting my sheet directly.
I'm targeting your sheet because it says Purdue basically isn't going to win the title, and I have to argue with it.
15% chance in the last 20 years. 15% of teams have had a 3-game losing skid, and 20% in the last 5 years. So there's still a chance. Also, a little
How many national
statistic.
champions? Go ahead.
You said what? Oh, I was
How many
gonna.
national champions have a top 10 offense and a top 30 defense? Almost all of them, and we
every
check
one of
those
them.
boxes.
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet. I'm compiling a ton of statistical data right now in the last 20 years of national championships, just to like see if statistical data proves right in that aspect. But in the last 20 years, there have been 5 non-1 seeds that have won the national title. In the last 5 years, there's been 1.
That was UConn.
So, yep.
The UConn team in 22-23 was basically the anomaly to everything.
I had to remove their data from some of my analysis just because of that. They're such an anomaly. They weren't that great of a team and just went on a killer run.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. They weren't that great, and then they steamrolled the March Madness. Like, it wasn't – they won every game by, 15-plus that year? That was the year before they beat us. But
they also had an incredible bracket. I mean, things just fell into place. The 1 seed got upset. They played a lot of they played 2 WCC teams, I think. Really had a good draw too, and then some guys caught fire.
Gonzaga.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, they were just playing that conference. It's
and then they got FIU and San Diego State in the Final Four.
Yep.
I mean, it was an incredible year for them to draw. Yeah.
Yeah, I had that argument with UConn fans. I had that argument with their fans on Twitter one time because it was like, you guys won a national title. Sure. Look who you played. Like, sometimes it just breaks your way and it becomes, pretty easy. But
hey, I still have hope, man. I still have hope.
I do. No. Oh, yeah. I guess I'll get into that moving forward. My thoughts, 100% this team can win a national title in my eyes. What I asked for the last few days or few videos has been, we have Braden playing at a very elite level. All we need is Fletcher's shot to start falling in and TKR to get his head out of his ass. It appears that both of those are trending. Okay. Now, really, the last thing to fall, which at the time when I said that was already working, is somewhere along the line we got to get Oscar back to the level he was at. He's kind of, I don't know if it was defensively getting exposed for a few games, like if that threw him off, but his points and rebounds have both drastically dropped in the last 4 or 5 games. Need to get that back a little bit, or get DJ kind of filling in that role. And then CJ shot to start falling. And if those things happen, there's a world where Purdue rattles. I mean, how many Purdue fans to start this Big Ten season were 20-0, 18-2, 19-1, and you're telling me nobody believes you can go 9-0 in the last Big Ten games? To me, it's like, how can you believe one thing and one simple 12-day stretch of games can completely change? If Iowa State didn't change that mindset, I don't know how these games did. Because if any game should have been Iowa State at home getting absolutely mollywopped by a team in your own building. So 100% I believe Purdue can still do it. I believe that Purdue can win the next 9 games. But like you guys have said 3-1 in the next 4. I'll extend that to 4-1 in the next 5 and add IU into the end of that. Because to me, that's a must win at this point. Like, you're senior. It's your senior year, dude. If you lose to IU twice, I don't even care if you win a national title. You're still going to we're still laughing stock to IU people. Even if we win the Natty, they're still going to go, well, we still beat your ass twice. Then that to me is like, Dalton knows we're in a group chat with one of our best friends and he's an IU fan and he would never let that go away. He'd be like, yeah, you won a Natty, but you still couldn't beat IU, So to me, that's big. Like, at Iowa, Michigan at home, at Nebraska, Oregon, and IU. You got to win 4 of those games, and you still have a shot. Everything's still in front of you, I think, because I think 16-4 could win this league. It's starting to look like Illinois is going to maybe run away with this. I just don't know that Michigan, with their schedule coming up, can stay up with Illinois. Illinois has already played a lot of the toughest teams and beaten them. So interesting to see, but I still believe in Purdue, and I'm with you, Blake. If the team cares only about March here, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, if we win the Big Ten, yeah. If we don't win the Big Ten, I don't care. I'm kind of on the same page as where I think a lot of them are. Like, let's just get this over with, and let's find out where we're at. Let's get a bracket, and let's go play some games. Like, that's how it feels. So I hope everybody, I know there's a ton of negativity, and from me, from probably both of you guys, from everybody in this fan base, from the players, from the coaches. Hell, we had the damn volleyball coach coming out and trying to give some encouragement to the basketball team. That's fucking crazy. If we what are we doing? Why is the volleyball coach trying to encourage the basketball team? This is the basketball team that's been good for 20 years now. Anyway, it's fine. Everything's fine. Go beat Oregon. You got a whole week. Rest up, go beat Oregon. If any lingering, nagging injuries should be resolved by the time that game rolls around, stay healthy, and then go roll into that tough stretch and, prove yourself. Like Dalton said, it's time to shut up or put up or shut up. I always almost screw that up. All right. What are your, if you have final thoughts, feel free to say those, but player of the game, I'll start off with you, Blake, as you are the guest here.
Yeah, real quick final thoughts, just kind of looking ahead. I think we're on track to have a good run here. I don't expect us to not lose any. I do think we'll drop a couple games here coming up because we got just some incredibly tough games. But you guys had Cobra on here last week on your show, and Derek and I were messaging with him. He had a big issue is he did some statistical analysis, which he's great at, and found out that Fletch's slump started about a month ago when his heat pump went out on his house. And he's having a baby coming into his family and just got his heat pump fixed. And so we kind of correlated that and we realized actually it's Cobra's heat pump that was a problem. So he's got that fixed. Fletch came out on fire. I think Fletch is going to roll, and I think we'll roll too. We'll probably still lose a couple here coming up. I don't expect us to go 9-0, but Derek, I love the confidence. I booked my flights to Indy last week after the skid because I said if I want my team to believe in themselves, I got to believe in them too. So I went ahead and booked the flights. I already got the tickets. I think we'll make it to Indy somehow, some way. I think the big three will us there. And then thoughts coming up. Derek, what was the second part of your question?
Oh, just player of the game. We never really got to that. We kind of lost it in the shuffle.
Yep. Player of the game. I'm going to give it to TK rebounds.
I like that. Didn't take the layup. I like it.
Never do. I'll leave that for you guys.
Yeah, layups are for losers. We only dunk and shoot threes around here.
By the way, one thing about Braden, he passed up a layup again today for a crazy kick out to a guy that wasn't there and got saved because it got tipped out of bounds. Braden's got to take the layups when they're there, man. If a kick out is open, fine, but don't give up a layup for the hope that a kick out is there. Just take the layup, please, Braden.
He seems to do that quite a bit. Like he jumps almost thinking there's no way this is going to be open, like layup. And he's already got pass in his brain. And then when it is open, he's like floating and he's like, oh shit. And he has to get rid of the ball. How about just go up ready to put it in?
Go up and lay at it. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Dalton, who's your player of the game? Or final thoughts?
Man, who do I want to take? I'm going to get yelled at either way. I'm going to take the layup this time. Since my boy Clough had a kind of off game, I'm going to take Fletch. I've been chirping, been wanting him to get back, been asking for literally anything out of him, and he responded. I mean, he did what you need to do when you're a shooter. Come out and hit a couple and get going. Great game by him defensively as well today. So, great job, Fletcher. If you check out the show, hey, keep it up, man.
Yeah.
There it
I would
is.
say, Fletch, probably thank you from all of Purdue fans for the collective sigh of relief when those first like 4 threes went down and everybody's like, oh, we're back. That's almost like I felt the whole fan base go, we're back. Because it feels like, man, when Fletch is making threes, this team is so different. Like if Fletch at any point can go off for 5 to 7 threes, you feel like Purdue can literally beat anyone. And when he is cold, you feel like we maybe can't beat anyone. Like, it's like complete 180. Like, and that's why I try to explain to people how important Fletch is to this team. They're like, bench him. I'm like, no, you think that our ceiling without Fletcher on this team is like Sweet 16. With him shooting well on this team, it is a national title. Like, he is that important because of everything he provides, from spacing, just his knowledge. Like, it's a coach on the floor who can also light you up from three. Like, if you've ever played like pickup basketball to YMCA and you get the 60-year-old guy who never misses and he also tells everybody where to be and who to guard, that team doesn't lose. You know, played with my dad's buddies when I was younger. That guy, his name was John Hinchin. He never lost, dude. He was covered in hair head to toe. Just hated guarding him, dude. It felt like hugging a wet t-shirt. It was nasty. And he wouldn't be a t-shirt. It was a tank top. He's had fur everywhere. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, that's I like those two. Thank you, Fletch, is what I wanted to say there. It was a long-winded way of saying it, but player of the game, I'm going to go with the obvious only other answer here, Braden Smith. And I'm not going to go with it really for the game. I'm going to go with it for kind of just the accountability of Braden Smith over the last few days. He goes on a podcast when everybody and their mother's telling him he should shut it down, and basically tells all those people to go fuck themselves. Sorry about my language, but he basically is like, dude, this is my life. It's an hour out of my week. If you think this is bothering me, you're an idiot. You're bothering me. Basically, that's what he said. Like, it's not the podcast. It's you mother trucker. He's just, and then he comes out and he plays his ass off. You know, you hear him in post-game press conferences. One, I think he truly hates talking to Brian Newbert. So if anybody wants to clip this, feel free. But whenever I hear Brian Newbert interview him, he just hates responding. I think he's just tired of all of it. Like, he just wants to go play basketball, get to a March Madness, and go try to win an Natty. Like, that's where his brain is, I think, truly. Like, all the other shit, all the noise, he's over it. And I think that's why you've seen him really go into this like scoring domination mode recently, because he's like, I don't need to listen to it. I'm done with it all. And I've just been really impressed with the way he's composed himself. It would have been really easy to run away, to not do his little podcast that clearly he wants to do. Like, a lot of people think that he's being paid or that was Sleeper's idea. Blake, you know, from being in the chat, that none of that's true. That was all Braden's idea. He reached out to them. He's just somebody who I think, if I'm going into March Madness and we're, you know, Sleepers does these cool drafts and stuff, and I'm picking one player, like starting a team, we got the whole thing. You can take Darren Peterson, DeBonce. I'm taking Braden Smith, and I'm not taking him because he's necessarily the best player, the most athletic, the most skilled. I just think he's the guy that wants it, that wants to win. He's going to give you everything. He never has to come off the floor, and this game is just another example of that. You know, he comes out, he torches them in the first half. Him and Fletcher rocking and rolling. They're smiling, they're high-fiving, they're laughing at the other team, and just happy that Braden Smith's on our team. And I pray that anybody who is hoping for his downfall in this program, as far as like his podcast or anything else, like, just take a minute and just enjoy the last 15 games maybe you get with him.
Touch some grass.
Touch some, like, he's going to be gone soon, like very soon. Like, well, it's February. If we make a Final Four, you have 2 months left. And he's gone, Fletcher's gone, and Trey's gone. So how about just stop complaining and criticizing and bitching and moaning, and just sit back and enjoy that they've given you 4 years of their lives where they've put in all the work and you've sat at home and drank beer. And yet you think that you have the right to tell them whether they should be playing or what they should be doing. It's crazy. Sorry about my rant, but it's been driving me crazy. And I've been that person. Trust me, 2 years ago on Twitter, I was one of those people who everything somebody did wrong, I thought I was gonna tell the whole world with the most creative thought ever about how bad they were. You're stupid, okay? I was stupid. If you're doing it now, you're stupid. Like, these guys, one, now are professional athletes, and two, have way more pressure than probably anybody that's on Twitter's ever dealt with in their life, and more expectation, and they work harder. So just give them a little bit of grace. And when things go rough, trust me, it's rougher on them than it is on you sitting on your couch. So, anything else from you guys?
No. Are you done? You know, and it's not like I have a ton of work to do tonight still, like the top 25 and edit this podcast and,
Sorry,
know.
dude. It's been like 10 days without me getting to release any of my thoughts, dude.
No,
Gotta
it's
get it out.
fine.
Gotta get it out.
I gotta get it out of my system. We will get back on track after this though. Sorry for the hiatus, guys. We will have a preview probably pretty early this week since we have so much time before the next game on Oregon. Home game should be another one of those kind of get right games, and then obviously the next week's when things start getting crazy and we'll have previews and recaps up. We do at some point. I don't know.
State of college
Yeah.
basketball is due up sometime.
We're almost
soon.
exactly halfway through the Big Ten season. So we'll probably do like a state of college basketball, state of the Big Ten sometime this week since we have a whole week.
Blake, you want to join us live for that if you have time?
Yeah, just message me and we'll see how it fits with the schedule.
Yeah, I thought
Okey-dokey.
about asking Blake and even maybe getting like a fourth, just so we can kind
Sam.
of get, maybe Sam, just get differing ideas where maybe we each go through one thing, and it's not so much hyper focused, where we can kind of just gossip about stuff and talk about, each conference and what we think. The last time we did one, it was like 2 hours long. So just a heads up if you do
Yeah.
join.
That's a normal pod for you now.
Well, we're up to an hour and 25.
Giving
already.
Bits a run for their money, man. Bryce isn't even on here and we're almost an hour and a half.
I know. I'm sorry. This is sometimes when it's been a while. This is a game that we won by 30 points, that had almost no real deep thought to it. So yeah, appreciate everybody who's watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and share it with a friend.
Thanks again to Blake for coming on, hanging out with us.
Thanks Blake as always. And yeah, again, if anybody ever wants to come on, we're glad to go through it with you. And appreciate everybody for watching. But we'll see you next time. We'll have a preview up sometime, probably Monday or probably Tuesday.
Later, y'all. See
Peace.
ya.